kind of see what's going on here. See if we can get some chats going. Oh yeah, that should work real good. Just right there like that. All right. Belly in the thing. All right. Let's see if we got a few folks here. Take it a few minutes. Get started anyways. Things I didn't advertise this. I figure it's going to take a little while to get some in. Oh, there we got two. And I already got a like. Wonder if we got Garrett as one of the first ones here. He usually is. And I went off and forgot my knife. Hey, how's it going? Got our first comment in there. All right. Went off and left my knife downstairs. Hey, Sabater. Hadn't got a chance to respond to your last email yet. I did read it, though. Thanks for that info. It's real help. Holy crap, Plow Boy, you're early today. What's wrong? Anyway, and I'm right on the highway, so I got 18-wheelers. I forgot my cutting tools. So I'm going to run down here right quick. Doing it out in the shop because it's a little noisy down here. I got the laundry going, and I have something on TV that you go shut off. I think I got the Meat Eater show going. Grab my razor blades. Grab my razor knife. Yeah, Salvador is the fastest in the West. All right, man, we got a good following this morning real early. What happened? Usually it takes 30 minutes to get anybody in here. So yeah, I'm gonna try to work on some holsters this morning. Try to get a little cash flow going in. Just about done with hunting season. Got one more tag to fill. That's Caroline's. And I think we're going to try to do it on the last day. All right. Try to get in here. Okay. But now that I'm winded running up and down the stairs. Man, I tell you what, hunting season's been going real good. Got my first 2 deer in. First 2 deer I've ever shot in hunting season. Got those bagged in, got them in the freezer. Friend Caroline got her first animal. She got a nice antelope. And we're going to try to do a chat this coming weekend, if I can talk her into it. Wanted to wait to do it this weekend so that hunting season was completely done with, and then we can, if she gets a deer on Friday, we can talk about that then. But tell you what, man, scraping hides, skinning animals, hauling them, holy Moses, my hands are so sore. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do much today. I mean, I cannot make, my hands are so stove up, I can't even make a strong fist. They're not swollen, it's just that muscles are so cramped up. But I just don't think they're swollen. Now they're not swollen. Feel swollen, but they're not. All right, here. Yeah, Willie, I do. We're going to be brain tanning them here in the next couple weeks. We still got deer to process. My 2 deer, I'll never shoot 2 deer in the same day again. So he's trying to cut it up and bag them because it was a little too warm just to let them hang. I wanted to let them hang overnight and cool out. But when we got back to camp, I mean, it was getting up to 80-some degrees. They were in sunlight and the flies are bad, so I decided I'd just cut them up there and we'd get them in the freezer. But we put them on ice and did a little run around. But yeah, it's been a fun season. It's been a quick season. It's been a real quick season. But like I said, it's been fun. Just got one more deer tag we got to fill, and then then we're gonna start it. And if things go right, I planned to film Caroline's hunt, but things were so fast. I didn't get a chance to film anything other than us getting in the car in the morning to take off to go chase antelope. And so, yeah, I mean, it was fast. And then, when we went to deer season, I got my two. I had two doe tags, and I didn't feel like filming all that, but that went fast too. I mean, we was gonna go drive to a spot and kind of stalk around, and on the way driving there was shot opportunities that were too damn good. But all right, see, I gotta find. Let's see here. I know I missed a few here. All right. So, Nick's in. I think everybody we've seen is in here. Willie, I always wanted to get a deer with a bow, but the thing about with bows and deers, you don't get really great hides because the bows make a bigger hole. Depending, not always the case, but sometimes the bows make a bigger hole. I know on Caroline's hide, the holes weren't that big. Of course, we was using copper bullets. But yeah, it seems like some of them Rage broadheads, they cut a 2-inch hole. Oh, geez, that's not good for tanning. One of the hides I got, the guys that shot him, I think they shot him 3 times, and that hide I shortened up quite a bit because it had a pretty good sized hole in the back of it. But I'd love to get one with a bow one of these days. Alrighty here. You know what, to make my life. Did I round that edge? I did not round that edge. Well, I guess we're going back downstairs because I forgot to round the edge on that one. That was the first one I was going to. Well, I'll start with these other ones. But anyway, snapper, if you get in or after the fact, this is yours. I'm getting ready to stitch it here. Forgot to round the edges on the skirt, so I got to take it back downstairs. And this one, I lost the name tag to. This one, I still got the name tag on. Hopefully, whoever I lost the name tag to is still interested in buying one. If not, I guess this one will be on one of the ones that goes up on sale. All right. There we are. There we're lined up. The only problem with the way I do this on these holes is sometimes it's a pain to get things lined up. Let's not break that. It's the only one I got. I need to order a new one. Okay. Hold that spot. Get that in there. Unlock the jaw. Yeah, so this thing is great when you're doing a flat stitch like this. But when you go to try to do a stitch like this with something rounded, them jaws can never grab it, so it's a pain in the butt to do one of them. Yeah, I don't. Wyoming runs a season out here real early for deer. My goodness, it's the month of October. Of course, Colorado runs archery season in October for deer. I could go down to Colorado right now and film an archery tag, but I'm going to wait a little bit on that one. Try to get Caroline to go with me on that one too. But I'm sure glad I talked her into buying the freezer that we bought together. And the nice thing is, I went to pick up the freezer. I was going to pick up a 5.5 cubic footer, and I was like, we're going to be pushing it with 4 animals in that. And lo and behold, I got into the store there. She was working that day, and I went in. They had a 7.5 cubic footer for the same price as what we was looking at for the 5.5. So I went with a 7 cubic footer. And by golly, I'm glad I did that. Because if she gets her animal, I mean, we're still going to have room for goose and ducks. But yeah, it's been a heck of a year. Means we got all the hunting done early, which I was hoping we'd get most of it done early. Now we can focus our attentions between the start of goose season and now on processing food. I want to smoke a bunch of that. Make some nice smoked jerky. Oh, I know why Garrett ain't on here yet. I ain't gonna say why. I know the reason. I talked to him this morning already. But yeah, he probably won't be in today. Oh, jeez. All right, are we back? Dropped the phone there. I don't know what happened. Let's see, Diane. Yeah, we was hunting mule deer. Both mine are mule deer. I could have got a whitetail. Caroline's isn't anything. I think we're going to try for a mule deer. Yeah, I got lucky on that first one of mine. I was watching it. It was a whole bunch of does. And both my tags are does that operate in one cornfield. And there was a buck in there, a little bit bigger and a spiky as a fork. Pretty respectable fork. Caroline didn't want to shoot him. Of course, she couldn't see him all that well. So I shot my doe and got a real good shot. Shot her. She ran off about 50 yards, turned around, and came back to the exact spot I shot her in and fell over dead. The bad thing is that I was at the perfect height for a heart shot. However, I was about 3 inches back. So I got a lung, I got the liver, and I clipped the stomach. And she had been eating corn because there was corn everywhere. You can see where I'd shot her at. It just blew corn all over God's creation. Got her cleaned out. We wasn't very far from the ranch house there, and got her washed out real good, so I didn't lose anything. And I didn't get a real bad gut shot. I did nick the intestines a little bit when I was cutting the pelvis out, and then I kind of got in a hurry, and long story short, I wound up cutting Caroline's finger while she was helping me do that, and boy, I felt bad about that one, but kind of a lesson: don't get in a hurry when you're running sharp objects. I thought I was going to be clear of her finger, and I sure nailed it. All right, let's see. Yeah, probably yet. Oh, but yeah. So the guy that was letting us hunt deer on his property, we exchanged labor for hunting, and fact, we're going to be going out this weekend to help him cut firewood. So the day after Caroline tries to fill her tag, we go cut firewood the next day. He had some hunters that come in, and they come from a couple states away, and they pay a pretty good price. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, he says, I always have these hides and I always throw them away. And he says, I feel so bad. And it's like, well, I'll take them. So if Caroline gets her animal Friday, I think that puts 14 skins that I've got to get tanned. But yeah, there's a lot of work that's going to go into those. I've already put a lot of work into them, just getting the meat off them. And then I rolled them up, and I thought it was cool enough I could leave them rolled up, and they just kind of dry out. Rolled in a nice bundle because I didn't have any salt to put on them. That was a mistake. Wound up having to set them out in the sun and drying them flat. So I'm going to have to go out and rehydrate them. But yeah, Saboteur, I seen you had a comment there about antelope. I didn't quite catch that. Yeah, I thought about trying to antelope hunt when I was up in South Dakota. There just ain't that many antelope up there. We had a nice buck that kind of hung around the ranch up there. Found a nice deadhead of one year, and I don't know whatever happened to that deadhead. But, I mean, there's quite a few up there around the ranch I worked on. They said they had a real bad winter one year, and those antelope went down in a little draw, and they got snowed in, and they all got killed. So we didn't have a lot up there. I'm going to have to stop here and read the chat because I can't keep up with it. I guess I never really paid attention when I was up there around Belfouche, Saboteur. About it, yeah, I'd imagine there'd be a lot up that way. I know there's quite a few down by Shadron, Nebraska, because every winter I drive by, they'd always be out there on them fields, them alfalfa fields down by Shadron. But I tell you what, up here, it's like down in the area we were at, we were scouting all summer, just not a lot of antelope down here. Of course, there's a lot of open prairie and CRP. We decided for giggles and grins one day we was going to drive up to a town north of here about 40 miles, Manville. Take a look around up there because there's a bunch of walk-in access. And I'll be god danged if we seen more antelope in that one day driving on private up to that area than I'd ever seen in my life in one day. The closest next to it was the day that me and a buddy went up to Fort Phil Kearny, and then we decided to take the back roads out to Old Fort Reno to the monument, and we got out there, and oh my God, there was some trophy antelope out there. Oh my goodness, there were some big ones, but nothing like that day that Caroline was and I was out driving. Holy crap, they were everywhere. So yeah, we drove up and checked out that area, and she spotted one up there. She named him, and I'm pretty sure we didn't take a picture that day of that antelope because he was kind of on the move. I'm pretty sure that's the one she got. I hope it is. But yeah, as soon as I finish here, I'm going to catch up on the chat. So if y'all have been asking questions here, just be patient. It ain't going to take me too much longer to finish this. I'm right now stitching the belt loop. So on these Navy revolver size, Slim Jims, I really like this flat belt loop. This style is traditional. I like it because I only have to stitch once before I fold it over and stitch the body up. And I noticed with this style, you can if you want to, you can sit it straight up on your side, or you can carry it cross draw. It's designed for cross draw for up to about a 2 3/4 inch belt. I think Garrett's got one, and no, I take that back. Garrett's is fold over. He's been wearing for a year, and the stitches haven't slipped once on him, which I was impressed. But on like Walker Slim Jims, I do that fold over, and because somebody told me that would be a stronger connection. And I also throw a rivet in on those, just for a little added safety. And that way, if the stitching fails, well, it's still on the holster. I think Garza just checked in here. I don't have my eyeglasses on. Oh, looks like we got Doug Dukes in. How's it going, Doug? Starting to cool off down your neck of the woods? It's getting chilly up here. I'm in my pullover. Of course, I'm wearing camo today because it's laundry day. It's the only thing I had clean. And the blue jeans I wore yesterday, or day before yesterday, I didn't want to put them back on because I dealt with the really stinky hides. Bad enough I'd stop by Caroline's, drop some hides off in the freezer, and I sit there and talk for a little bit, and then she says, "You gotta go, you stink." I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I do. I'm getting out of here. Don't worry about it." So I'd like to do the hides a little bit cooler weather. It's getting about that time of year where I like to really work on them. Problem is, I got to work out them out at my buddy Sam's, and I kind of don't like people running around without them being there, and I don't blame him one bit for that. So I try not to do it when I'm going to impede on him. Yeah, but what I like to do with those hides, I know there's the people that do it, and they'll take and soak them in basically lye water, I think that's what they call bucking the hide. Take ashes and stuff and mix it. I hate doing that. I really do. It's just an added step in the process. You can soak it in plain Jane water for about the same amount of days. If it's cool. If it's warm, you want to change that water. That hide will swell up. That epidermis layer will swell up. The grain layer. And once that hair starts slipping, it all comes off about the same. One less little step in the process. And then for people doing the membraning thing, it's like when I flesh that thing, I take the membrane with it. I do that all in the same process. That's why it takes me, it could take me up to an hour to flesh a hide. Because I get in there and I just start peeling that membrane right along with the flesh. I don't leave anything behind. That's why I can also get a hide done a little faster than some of those folks do. So I mean, it still takes, there's no difference in the process of how many times it takes to soak in the brains, because I did one hide bucking it that way. And I still had to soak it in the brains several times to get it to take. You'll be sitting there and you soak it overnight, start stretching on it, pulling on it. Feels like it's going to be real nice and soft. And then all of a sudden it just gets rock hard and starts getting crinkly. At that point you stop, you throw it back in the solution, you let it soak it up again. And then you wring it. And then you start stretching it. I think I've only had one hide that I've only had to do it twice in the solution. But I also wrung the crap out of that hide too. Did the little donut thing and wrung the crap out of it, but it takes a while. All right, so if you've been asking questions there, give me a second. I'll be done here this part in just a quick second. I just realized I should have burnished that edge before I got this far. Oh well. I should have dyed it too. I might take a break here and do that after I finish stitching here. I'm definitely going to have to order me, and I should probably do that while I'm thinking of it. Order me another awl, because I think my awl here is getting, I know some blades getting longer on it, so I think it's about to fail. Hey, we're up to 9 viewers. It's been a pretty good morning here this morning. A lot of folks that normally don't get in on here. Yeah, I only got about 7 more stitches to go. I gotta get some leather moving because I need a little pocket change, and I also got to order more leather. And at some point here, I think I'm going to be getting a saddle order in. So maybe building a saddle on here one of these days. I hope so. Be the first one I ever did. Go into it blind, self-taught. Of course, I'm self-taught on all this. Pretty much. Whoops. Let's not get too big of a bind here there, Duke. All right. And when you start getting back in, and sometimes I have to use pliers even on a regular stitch, but when you start getting back in, because I always overlap my stitch by about 5 stitches, that's when the pliers come in super handy. I need to find my Gerbers. Man, them things are nice. They're great for this. And I need to line the jaws on this thing too. It doesn't scratch the leather too bad, but I need to just sit down and do it. See if I can find me some copper or brass tacks. Flathead ones. Put some leather on these jaws. I got plenty of freaking goat skins that I ordered that, you know, the pictures didn't really serve well. Ordered them and they weren't exactly what I thought. I ordered one that looked kind of like a smoked deer skin, really. It was a brownish, and got it in chocolate brown. And they had some there that did look kind of more of a golden smoky, and they're bright golden yellow. And then I ordered some in that were white, and those are what I like to use the most, but they're silver on the grain side. painted silver. So, yeah, I use those to line sometimes. The problem is that freaking dye, you don't realize how much dye rubs around until you rub it over a little white hide. Okay, probably about the last stitch here. There we go. Yep, I poked through a little bit of leather there. Not gonna hurt nothing. All right, finish this up here, and then I'll read the chat. And I always have a lot of leftover. The reason I've got so much leftover on this is I cut this string for that holster over there, so I just wasted it. Well, I didn't waste it. I can use it on another small sewing thing. Oh, hey, we're up to 12. By golly. Let's keep that thing going. We're doing pretty good. So, there's a nice stitch. And I've went to this white nylon thread, and it looks really nice on that background, on the contrast of that. Problem is, when I'm doing a black holster, that black dye just rubs off on everything. I hate that black dye. I need to start making my own vinegarine mixture and doing my own black dye. You know, it's pretty cool when the neat's foot oil starts to congeal. Should probably take my neat's foot oil inside. Probably wouldn't hurt to give this all another coat too. It's gonna be cool today, so it ain't gonna soak in very well. I gotta run downstairs and get an edger anyway. Might as well take a little break here. Run down, grab that, and read what the chat is. If I can read, walk, and chew bubblegum at the same time. All right, let's see here. All right, we're going to fall back. All right. Let's go back here a while. No, I didn't miss too much here. Yeah, it's funny how deer like them pepper plants. They love pepper plants. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Garza's in. Yeah, I saw him drop in. Hey, will ya? Sorry I didn't say bye there, but maybe I'll catch you in the follow-up. Let's see. Doug, if you think 90 degrees is cool. Yeah, it's probably better than what it was a few months ago for you. Yeah, Doug, I didn't make the stitching horse, my uncle did. Let me put a mute on watching the Meat Eater TV show. Yeah, my uncle put the put that together for me. I'll have to show it off here one of these days. But yeah, made that, and then I don't use it a lot, just because, like I said, when you're folding over a holster, it don't work that well. But for doing flat stuff, it's great. Hey, Dad. Yeah, my dogs are doing good. You know, they're with my family back in Colorado. I sure miss the devil out of them, but yeah, they're doing pretty good. They say every time that a light-colored Jeep drives by, Gracie kind of goes crazy, sits by the gate waiting for me to show up. So I know they miss the devil out of me, but hopefully it ain't gonna be too much longer when we get down and get to see them again. Weekend guys, I don't ship to Europe just because it is ridiculous on shipping. My God, I sent powder horn to France years ago, and it was like $80 is what they was going to charge me. Thankfully, the guy I was sending it to, he was a government employee over there, so I was able to get it through on a diplomatic, so it went as domestic. But Holy crap. And you'd think Canada would be better, being, we share a border. I might as well drive it to Canada. And goes through customs and everything. So I don't mess with international shipping. I tell folks that, if they have a U.S. address they can send it to, family, relatives, friends, send it there. And there's a guy from Canada that I did do that for. But man alive. Oh, Todd, well, today I got my 1911 on. Sitting on my hip. I'm not going to pull it out because she's on condition 1 or whatever that is. Yeah, she's cocked and locked. But, yeah, that's mine for today. Unspecified podcast. Right now, it's got to be in the 50s. I haven't looked. Sea Sabre, have a jar of vinegar. Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to make some. I just need to go get some steel wool, some vinegar, and do it. Hey, Jersey Red. Garza, what inspired me to work with leather? I wanted some holsters for all my guns, and I didn't feel like paying for all the holsters for my guns. So I decided, well, I'd made some holsters before. I'd worked with leather before, so I decided just to buy some leather. Had a friend send me some patterns. Figured out how to make some patterns of my own. And then, family said, well, why don't you start selling them? So I started selling a few, and that turned into a whole bunch. Holsters is primarily what I do. I do knife sheaths mostly for friends close by because it's easier for me just to have the knife right here, make a pattern off of it. I can whip out a knife pattern and a knife sheath in probably about 2 hours, depending on what they want. I just do real basic knife sheaths, like I was sewing on last week for my friend Caroline. Let's see, before I forget, I wanted the edger when I was down here, and something else while I was down here. I already forgot what it was. Oh well. But anyway, yeah, so it was the intent to start making them for myself. And you know how many holsters I have for myself, for my guns? 4. Got 4 holsters for my guns. That's it. I wind up getting short on cash and wind up selling them. But this one here I've been working on. This is for mine. This is for me. It's just a plain one. Go with my 4 3/4 until I decide that I need money and I sell that too, which may happen anyway. But yeah, I've got 2, 3, 4. I've got a few more than what I said. I've got a few, but this is the one that I've been using the most here lately. It's that full flap 1872 military style, and it will be. We'll be offering it. That was a prototype. It turned out right. The other ones that I made for some friends out at the fort aren't turning out right like they should. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Let's see. So I don't have to make another trip down here. I have to get my edger, and I think that was it. I just had to get the edger. All right, let's see. Todd, it's full size. It's a GA model. It's at Sauce, which is about as close to a Colt as you're going to get for a decent price. Really, I love that gun. Shoots a little bit to the left, I noticed. In fact, it's kind of strong to the left. But I love it. It goes just about everywhere with me that it can legally go. First day I've had to been able to work in a shop and had to keep the door closed here. Yeah, we'll see you, Weed and Guns. Oh, Saboteur Saddle Scabbard. I'm going to be working on one here for too long, I think. I forgot who it was that said they wanted one, but somebody asked me about one. And I found some patterns online. I just got to print them out. And then the California horn, the loop for holding the gun. I made quite a few of those when I was working down at Bent's. Made them for Bent's there. And that was when I was starting to have a little bit of a falling out because they was seriously taking advantage of my leather stuff, having me do all kinds of fancy stuff. And it's like, you guys need to foot up the leather or start paying me a little bit better or contract it. But yeah, I made 3 or 4 of them for them. And then I made one. They said, well, we'd like them, this way and that. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll make one a little fancier to go with that fancy saddle they had. Oh, that's too fancy. Oh, it ticked me off. Oh, let's see here. All right, I think I pretty well got caught up. Oh, see, Mountain Man, what'd you miss? Oh, not a whole lot. Just worked on one holster here and did a little stitching on it. Got that belt loop in. I think before I stitch the body, I've got the other one. It's same thing. I will get the body of that one stitched up here. And I screwed up and I cut off too long of a thread for when I was working on. Actually, I got another one over here I need to do too, and I lost a part of it. I need to, but yeah, if you got a holster order with me currently, I'm working on them. I've got 3 more over here I got to go punch holes on. I don't think I'll do that on the chat today, but I've got these I'm going to try to get finished up, and then I'll go to the post office and get boxes, or see what I need to get for boxes, and then start shipping this batch out, and then it's on to the next batch. I got to start writing down orders, but man alive, this batch I've been working on for almost a year, and it's not that many holsters. And there's been a handful of guys I know that's dropped out, so I may have, well, I know I'm going to have a handful here left. I was going to burnish the edge on that, and all my stuff's up here for that. That's what I was going to do. Okay. But anyway, well, I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can bevel this edge here and do it while I'm sitting in this chair. And I need to get a hold of Snapper. I haven't seen him pop into the chat here yet. I need to get a hold of him. He may be asleep this morning. He's more of a night owl guy. And I'm probably on Saturday. I was going to do a chat with my friend Caroline on our hunting. Just kind of a after-action hunting report thing. I didn't get to film it. We will remedy that problem next time. So we're going to film everything on it. We're going to film the hunt. We're going to film the... Well, we're not going to do too much on the gutting because that's going to make YouTube throw a fit, but we might show the hide peeling. Yeah, we're going to do that, and then show the process of processing the hides, and then show the process of tanning the hide, yeah, and then we'll kind of do our little catch, clean, cook thing. I guess it'd be a kill, clean, cook. Yeah, we're gonna make some videos. We're gonna do some stuff. Maybe do some cooking videos here. And it looks like people are starting to drop off on the visitation there on the viewership. It's all right. These are just kind of for fun. Just a little break in the monotony of the day. Man alive, that was not a good piece down there, but I think I can make it look nice. I'll do a little trimming here. I just had to see if I get one more. Oop, trim a little thin. And one day I had to see if I could just get a little bit more leather out of it. think I pushed it about as far as I could go. Yeah, I think it'll look nice. If not, I'll make a new one for him. It should look just beautiful. Excuse me. Oh, I need to at least burnish this inside. So when you do an upholstery, you should always burnish at least this part here, because when it folds over, it's a pain to burnish down in here. So I'm going to kind of move some things here. Ooh, excuse me. And while I'm at it, I might as well burnish these edges, because I obviously didn't. So yeah, for burnishing, I'm just using the EcoFlow gum trag. It works. I think I'll try some Tokenol next time. I think my uncle's using Tokenol. I don't know if he is or not. I don't remember. And then when I'm doing the edges, just to kind of make sure things get clean and don't have any fuzzies, these wool daubers got a lot of fuzz on them, even though they trim them up pretty good. So you just take a lighter and you just kind of give it a little touch. That kind of burns off the fuzzies. Then you just rub that all off on your hand, and it's not as fuzzy anymore. But I'm gonna have to move some of this dye stuff downstairs. I think I made the mistake when I was moving around this past spring. I was moving around a lot. I just was not unloading the car all that fast. I was leaving things out in the car at night, and never gave it a thought to freezing. But the leather dye didn't seem to hurt that. It's alcohol based. However, my Resolene, and I should just ordered some more Resolene this morning, and I got to make sure that I keep that inside where it won't freeze. Frickin' Resolene. This is the bottle, and it is solid. It just coagulated like curdled milk. So I kind of screwed up on that one. Now on these belt loops like this, I don't worry too much about glassing them. I'm not going to see much of it anyway, but I try to get it smooth as I can. It may not glass anyway, but yeah, it's a little chilly. It may not even be 50 degrees today. It may be only about 40 right now. I checked my AccuWeather, but for crying out loud, it messed up this live chat. But I really wished I didn't live on the highway. I do not like listening to them trucks all damn day. There were some times in the summer where it was just a little warm downstairs, which was unusual because usually it's freezing my bullocks off down there. That one's gonna glass nice anyway. A couple nights I tried to sleep with the window open. Jesus, you can't do it. Especially truckers, I think, when there's a cop ain't around at night, they just throw their Jake brakes on when they come into town, and I'm right on the edge of town. So all you hear is going down the freaking road. Pisses me off. Yeah, those are burnishing real nice. Man alive. Tell you what, you'd think that much as I play around with deer skins and stuff, I wouldn't have much for allergies. Oh, Jesus. If it wasn't for the 24-hour allergy pills, I think I'd have been dead this week. But I didn't know how bad and out of shape I was till after Caroline shot her antelope, and we had to pack that sucker out, and I forgot to take game bags with us, so we hauled it out whole to hang down at my buddy Sam's, and holy crap! Oh yeah, see, yeah, I know where you're talking about. Yeah, you mean in Lingle or Fort Laramie? Either way, neither one is. When I was living in Fort Laramie, both times, or the 3 places I lived in town there, um, I was fortunate enough I wasn't real close to the railroad. Speaking of which, there be the whatever time it is train. I can never get away from the trains. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, and then that's right down there too. There's an apartment here in town that's open. I've thought about looking into. It's the Union Pacific rail office here in Lingle. I've thought about it, and thing is, I don't think it's fully furnished. I don't have any furniture to speak of with me, because my little dinky Jeep out here, just I can't put that much in there. It's probably gonna take me about 2 trips to get all this shit home anyway. Oops. Well, I guess it's the uncensored version this morning. But anyway, yeah, it was nice living in Fort Laramie. I wish I could move back to that town. And I'm not much of a town person. Even the little town of Fort Laramie was a little bit too much town for me. I like it when my neighbors are a mile down the road or half-mile down the road instead of right next door. But wasn't that bad. I could live with it. I tell you what, though, they're at Fort Laramie and them goose hunters open up in the morning. Holy crap. There, when goose season was going real strong, I was working night shift. I come home, about 5 o'clock in the morning, go to bed. 8 o'clock in the morning every morning. Right at 8. You'd hear the opening salvo, about 20 shots. It was like, good Lord. Of course, the room I was staying in on the house was right close to that field they was hunting, which was only about a half mile away. Caroline, I was living with her at that time. Her room was on the opposite side of the house. It didn't bother her near as much. But it's like, oh, Jesus. But I tell you what, Fort Laramie, I think that's goose hunting capital of Wyoming. If not, it's very close. A lot of geese out there. A lot of geese out the old fort, too. And what's funny is the geese out the fort just hang out around the fort all year long. They ain't scared of people. What's funny is sometimes we go out there and we go shooting out at my friend's place, and he's not too far away from there. You tell when the geese had come in and landed there, because if I go into the fort in the morning, just kind of talk with the bosses, when those geese would see me, they recognize me and they'd take off half mile away. We got one goose out there at that fort that every year she has her every year she's at every year she's up in this one cottonwood tree every year. I stepped out one day to get pictures of her goslings because they were kicking them out of the nest. And Papa Goose decided he didn't want me around. Boy, he chased me right on out back into the truck. All right, I gotta run and do a little die-in here. Now, before I do that, I better check and make sure I don't do it anywhere else. I need to do this one. See a comment here. Steve. Oh, I don't want to say a bad thing about Lear's. I've been to Lear's a couple times, and me and my friend, we go there, and we went there once and had really good food, and we went there again, and it wasn't that good of food. Um, their desserts are phenomenal. I love their desserts, but I think it depends on who's cooking that day. But even on that good day, I'd had quite a bit better um, Mexican food. The one place that Caroline and I like to go for Mexican food is actually over in Scottsbluff. Um, I want to say it's Seven Americans or Seven Americas or whatever it is. Um, really, really, really good stuff. Um, yeah, Caroline and I ate there, and oh my God, totally worth it for the drive. Um, but yeah, my favorite in the valley here, it'd have to be Broncos is number one. Ben's is the next one. Um, that's over in Guernsey. I love Ben's. Um, love their pizzas. God, Caroline and I, if we go get pizza, we usually get the Reuben pizza. Great stuff. But yeah, like that one. There's God bless. There's another restaurant we like to. Oh, the 307. We like to go to the 307 over in Torrington. But oh, and the corner bar here. I won't give the other name for it. But the corner bar here in Lingle, really like that. I'll stop in there and I'll have lunch whenever I'm feeling up for it. Really great place. I just love it to death. All right. And their crispy chicken sandwich. Oh, it's great. Well, Steve, yeah. You know, there a lot of people say it was the best place around, but it's not my top spot. That's for sure. All right, I'm gonna sit down here for a second. Actually, I'm gonna have to loosen my gun belt. About to dig into me. Let's see. See, Sabater, when I went to Fort Laramie, I spaced out that the Grattan Massacre happened in the area. Also, when reading Billy Garnett's interview on Yellow Bear's death, he talks about the other half-breed shooting swans. Yeah, I don't see much swans out here with 66 Winchesters. Yeah, so yeah, that Yellow Bear death, I found some interesting info on that. Was we one of the ladies that volunteers out here was looking for some info on, I think it was Mary Janice, how she died, because she's buried out here. And there's also William and Peter Janice buried right next to her. They all died in 72. So I got to looking into how that all happened. And it all comes down to Yellow Bear's death is what starts at. Because Jean-Baptiste Jr. kills him. Peter Janice is outside the horses. He takes off, and John Jr. gets killed there. And the other Reshaw brothers decided to, go out for vengeance, right? And they killed William and Peter in retaliation for that. It's interesting how all this history ties in together on that. But yeah, I need to read Billy Garnett's interview. I thought I had it, but I don't know now that I do. If you've got that on a digital format, Sabater, if you'll send me an email with that, I greatly appreciate it. And I'd gladly send you any info I got that you'd be interested in. I got a crap ton of stuff. I left a lot of it out at the fort, but I took a lot of it home too. But yeah, there's so much amazing history up here. And Salvador, next time you get down this way, you got to stop in on one of my talks. So this summer for talks that I've been doing, they're just 20-minute programs. One of the ones I come up with last year was Scouts on the Western Frontiers. It talks about the scouts out here in the Fort Laramie area and really focuses on a lot of those half-breed scouts that operated out here. The Janice brothers, the Reshaws, Frank Garrard, who's a hell of a character. If you've never read the story on Frank Garrard, I highly recommend you do it. It's a great story. And then Big Bat Pouillet, he's got really great info. But yeah, so I developed that talk on there. And that kind of led me to the info on the Reynolds fight, reading up about them, because all those guys were scouts for Crook for that fight. And so lo and behold, about halfway through the summer, I developed a talk on the Reynolds fight. And that Reynolds fight is kind of just a sad story, because it's a bad start to how that entire 1876 campaign is going to go. Oh, Salvador, I know which comment you're talking about. Can you remind me? Because I can't remember. I've got too much swimming around up in here. But I know, yeah, Oliver Newton Johnson said something about him. But yeah, throw that in the comment down there if you would. Because I don't remember all the details. I got too much in my head. It's like I read up on stuff and then I start forgetting other stuff, and you got to make room for it, I guess. I tell you what, I spent 6 years studying geology and paleontology up at the School of Mines. I don't remember any of that stuff. Not one. Very little bit that I can remember of it. Just remember that the White River's Oligocene, and down in here we're in the Riccara Formation, which is Miocene, something like that. Yeah. So geology talk, I don't do it anymore. I need to read up on Oliver Newton Johnson more too. I had his book. I thought it's either I have it or I've got it on the wish list on my books to purchase. But man alive, I got an extensive library and I need to do some more with it. All right. Well, let's see here. Try to figure out what I need to do next. Well, I need to. While that's drying, I'm going to work on snapper's holster here. Actually, no, I got a burnish that. Damn it, I'm not going to work on that one yet. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to put some dye on this one. This one was russet. Oh, on his comment on Garrard. Sorry, I thought you meant on Billy Garnett. Yeah, on Garrard. Yeah, there was a lot of people that did say Garrard was dishonest. And, throughout history, you read up about them guys. Some of them guys did tell a lot of tall tales, like Jim Beckworth's autobiography. A lot of tall tales in that. Same with Jim Bridger. He told a lot of tall tales. And Frank Garrard's stuff is a lot of tall tales too. However, there's stuff to back up what he says. And Big Bat Pouillet backs a lot of that up. So yeah, it's like you take Frank Garrard with a small grain of salt. You take Jim Beckworth with a big grain of salt. But that's one of the reasons why I have so many books is I don't have any one source. I try to back it up with as many sources as I can. Yeah, Oliver Newton Johnson said he was dishonest. Captain Mills of the 3rd Cavalry, he had Garrard with him at the Battle of Slim Buttes. And Mills come out and said, the man is an excellent scout. none exceed him in his scouting abilities. However, he thought he was a cowardly SOB, um, and would run away from battle the first chance he got. Because I guess at Slim Buttes he tried to duck out, according to Mills. But what was that? Bjork, Lieutenant Bjork, that was with Crook, had great things to say about Frank Garrard. So it's one of those things, people liked him and people didn't like him. He was friends with the Reshaws, and Louis Reshaw tried to kill him because Louis Reshaw was jealous of his abilities. Yeah, Sabater, you got a valid point. If you're a valuable scout, why was getting shot? Yeah. But if I was a scout in that day, I don't think I'd be sticking my neck out for a bunch of officers. I'd do my job and then I'd try to sneak out of there. It's like I'm getting paid to find them, not to fight them. But that's just me. But yeah, William Jackson, he was with Custer. He said good things about Garrard and Big Bat Pouillet. Now, Big Bat Pouillet said, there's some things that Frank Garrard said probably wasn't true, but they were still great friends. Because there's that great story on the Sibley Scout. Frank Garrard says that Big Bat was suffering from a venereal disease and wasn't able to keep up and this, that, and the other. And then Big Bat Pouillet comes back and his story is the exact opposite. It's Frank Garrard that's suffering from a venereal disease. So, they were all good friends. So, but, if it wasn't for Garrard, the Reynolds fight might not have happened. And that might have been to the good side because that's kind of a sad tale. That was just a peaceful village that had nothing to do with what had been going on, was in fact trying to surrender when the snow cleared out. And Garrard thought it was Crazy Horses Village, and he wasn't too far off. Crazy Horses Village was in the area, but it did not end well for that poor group of Northern Cheyenne. All right. And at some point here in the future, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to start doing a podcast on a lot of that stuff. I think I'm going to have to get a new computer for that to happen. And the new computer is not going to happen anytime soon. That's for sure. Just don't have the money to deal with it. But maybe if I get enough holster orders. The thing is, Caroline and I are getting so much into hunting. It's like that's starting to be the dominant thing that's taking up funding. It was the hunting things, which I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy hobbies that I get something out of, and with hunting, I get food. It's kind of important to have food. Yeah, I totally understand that one, Sabater. Frank Garrard, he even admits he wasn't for spending whatever it was, 6, 7, 8 years with the Lakota. He didn't really learn the language that well, and he even admits that. Of course, the whole time he thought he was going to be killed too. So, all right, get some caught up on doing some things here. Got that all nice and ready to burnish. All right, I think this one's about ready for doing a little stitching here. So Sabater, I'm kind of curious. Was it up there where you're at? Is that where Big Bat Pouillet and his family wound up at? because I know he was married into the Reshaws, and the Reshaws were relations to Red Cloud. So I was curious if they all wound up there. If I remember right, Little Bat Garnier was up in there. Um, and I think some of the Genesis were up there too. Yeah, because I remember reading. I looked up Big Bat Pouillet online, and there's one of his descendants up there that looks just like him, and I think he has a name, Big Bat. I know there's a lot of Bedaloons and all right, I'll get this threaded. I'm going to get caught up on the chat because I seen there's a bunch there that I missed. All right. Okay, let's see here. So I seen one from Doug there. I was trying to read and it went off on me. Come on. What the heck's going on here? There we are. All right. Let's see. Doug says, someone on this chat or 11 Bang Bang might have an old computer they aren't using. It's better than the one. Yeah, that's true. The computer I got, I can't complain too much about it. I got it practically for free because it showed up and it didn't work and got refunded, and it was at a pretty steep discount anyway. But the one I got before the screen went to hell, and if I could get a screen, and I probably should just do that, is just go buy a desktop screen. If I get a screen, I could use it. It's just a screen that's shot. But it's a higher end. It's got an i7 processor and a really good graphics card, because when I do a 15-minute video, it only takes about an hour for it to render out. Whereas on my desktop I got at home is next step down, and it takes about twice as long. Yeah, I'm going to start reaching out here one of these days. Right now, it's kind of on the back burner of things. But hopefully, yeah, we'll get set up, or if I can find another really good deal on a computer. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Steve, you got a very good point there. That Reynolds fight is a great example of what happens, because Reynolds should have never been there. If Kirk would have been there, I think things would have went different. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of yeah. Okay, yeah, on the reshows, yeah. I know there's a lot of them up there, and they all got ties down here to Fort Laramie at some point or another. All right, I'm going to set this back down here, and we'll go to stitching this one. Got to get some leather work done today. I got to make money. Because I think my last payday is this coming Tuesday. So, let's see, get that one lined up there. I think that's pretty well lined up. Or am I too low? Yeah, last of it. Might be one off here. Oh, I'm way off here. Okay. Yeah, I lined up there. Alrighty, I don't see anything pop up on chat here, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Kind of get things evened out, and then the nice thing about pre-punching holes is it really shortens up this process of stitching. Oh man, we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to have to go check on my laundry here. And so if you happen to be watching and you do happen to have an order in with me, just know I'm working on them fast as I can. I'm surprised my hands have lasted this long. I'm hoping here by the end of October, this batch will be out the door. So, Saber, I got another question for you. I spent quite a few years up on the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation, but I don't know what group, what tribe is up there. Do you happen to know? That's one thing that I never even gave a thought to. Oh, let me see here. I just seen one from. Let's see here. Okay, come on. Stephen M. Did you email me about one? Because I may have one here for you. The thing of it is I've lost track of all these because I'm going to have to go back through my order list and figure out who's got what in this. Some of them have names. This one's got a name on it. But there's a handful of them that don't. And those that don't are going to go up and go for sale here for too long. But that's the thing about going for so long. Oh, okay, Saturday, so it's multiple ones. Okay. If I remember right, the Umpapas were up on Standing Rock. And then Rosebud, is that also Oglala? Because I didn't remember on that one either. Oh, the double shoulder rig. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I remember that one. Salvador Chicago. Okay. Yeah, that one's going to take me a bit because I'm going to have to come up with the pattern. I'm working on shoulder rig patterns. I've been working on them. Trying to make one for me and one for my friend Caroline. So that one I'm going to have to, it's going to take me a little while on that one. Yeah, most of this stuff is the quick, simple stuff. Yeah, I've got another guy that wants one. Actually, he wants two. He wants a double loop for a 62 pocket. So I got to make a pattern. That's not going to take too long. And then he's got one, wants one for a friend of his for a 49 pocket and a shoulder holster. That one's going to be easy. I just need to sit down and do it. And I might have those, get started on those here pretty quick. Got a few orders from Garrett that I got to get filled. I still owe him a Patterson, and I owe him another one here that I'm gonna have to get done here pretty quick. 1858 under the left. See, okay. The big thing I've been trying to work on is making the connector straps for those shoulder holsters. And for my 1911 and for Caroline's, I had to make mag pouches. I also got to sit down and make a nice knife sheath for Caroline. And Salvador, if you think about it, if you've got some references or pictures of Lakota and or Cheyenne style beadwork, it's kind of geometric stuff. If you could send that to me from 50, 60, 70 style stuff. I've got a lot on there, but it's hard to, when I do a Google search, to know the time frame of them. One thing I've noticed is pretty common theme with the Cheyenne style is usually on the edge of like a knife sheath. They have a alternating black and white, or any other color, but it's alternating. It's kind of a two triangles put together to form a square. Well, that kind of is pretty typical of the Cheyenne stuff, but I don't know if that applies to Lakota beadwork as well. Yeah, that one guy that I was talking with that was doing, when I was doing living history, said, never have geometric pattern. That was reservation period. That's like, well, you look at Parfleche from where it's painted on there, those designs, and even the quill work from the 20s and such, and it's like, it's geometric patterns. Why wouldn't they do geometric with the beads as well? He was saying, oh, it's all floral, and it's like some of that floral stuff is definitely reservation period. The fancy, and we talked about that on the email too. Okay, I'm going to have to read that here in a second. Try to finish this. So I know light blue, if I remember, it was light blue and white were often used for kind of the big background stuff. Yeah, I'll have to pull that up here and look at that. And a friend of mine, coworker out at the fort, she brought in a beautiful knife sheath that she bought that was original. It was 1870s, and it's like, that's real geometric. A lot bigger beads than what I'm using. I think they're 10-aught. I was using 13-aught. I may have cut this string too short this time. The other time was too long. This one's going to be too short. But Museum of the Fur Trade's got some beautiful beadwork on display. And same up at the Fort Robinson Museum there in Chadron. They got some really beautiful stuff on display. I think most of that at Chadron's 70s, 60s, 70s, but yeah, I'm too too far away to read it. Oh my God. My hands are starting to get sweaty and I can't get a hold of the needle. That's it. I've had enough. All right, I took a break here. My hands are kind of cramping up. I don't want to spit on the floor in here. I get chewed out for that too. Okay. Let's see. Savage says simpler beadwork is earliest. Lakota stated brighter colors. Remember, there was a tribal marriage. So Lakota with Cheyenne wife who wear Cheyenne clothing. This is true. This is true. Black is really dark blue. Oh, okay. That is good to know. I need to do some ordering. Let's see. Steven says quills talent to Lumia tribe. Yeah, I've been meaning to try quill work, but I've got tons of porcupine quills. I just haven't done anything with it. Okay, Saber says size 8 check. Pony beads is common for the 1830s to mid 50s. Okay. Seed beads showed up around then. Yeah, because when I ordered them 13-aught, I know they're too small. They're way too small. They still look good though. Yeah, I was gonna do 10-aught, but I'll look at those 8-aughts too. Thing is, those beads get expensive. My Lord, some of them get really expensive. Yeah, I was gonna say, Saber. Yeah, 13 is pretty common. I think it's because you get more for your money. But man alive, does it take forever to put that many little beads. It's like beadwork's not hard. Most of the time invested is just getting them beads on the needle. Oh, am I going to have enough thread? Good. Bless it. Just barely. Just barely going to have enough thread. Hands are getting sweaty. Usually I have a little piece of scrap deer skin that I use to grab the needles, but that thing has disappeared on me. Yeah, I was thinking when I make Caroline her vest out of antelope, I was going to do a little floral beadwork on it. I just got to find a nice pattern that I want to use. Oh boy, I bet I don't have enough thread. God bless it. I am mad at myself for that one. Well, we're going to backstitch it with what little I got left. And I'll take one of those pieces that I cut. It was too long on the last one. And about that much too short. So, Saturday, when you sew brain tan, do you use a Glover's needle? I used it for doing some stuff, but a buddy of mine, he told me not to use that because it creates a too big of a hole which I can understand why. The thing is, if I sewing with just a regular cloth needle, it's sharp. I had problems with it. Drop my pliers. Okay, grab this chunk of string here. Let's see what I caught up here. Yeah, Salvador, he does have a great book. A little bit spendy, but yeah, he does have great stuff. Yeah, Salvador, and I've been thinking about using actual sinew too. I saved some of the sinews off of them deer and antelope that we took. I use the backstrap sinews, leg sinews. I was going to save a few of those, but they were so short. I got a bunch of sinew at home. My uncle worked in the butcher shop at a grocery store for a lot of years, and he'd save big strips of beef sinew, and they're laying around. We just never done anything with them. But because if I remember right, it was the back legs they used on buffalo for bowstrings. But boy, when Caroline gets an elk next year, she's going to put in for a tag. I'm going to see about putting in for a tag. If I'm still up here next year, I'll put in for a cow. But I'll save them back sinews off those. And we're staying at about 10 viewers today, going for about an hour and a half. I think I've been stitching on this for about 15 minutes. Deer leg sinew is worthless. Beef or buffalo sinew is great. Old. Oh, I didn't get a chance to read that all. Okay, that's good to know. Hope that mule deer backstrap is good because I got some nice pieces out of that. I gotta learn how to fillet that sinew off and backstraps better because, man, alive. I took a lot of meat when I tried to fillet those off. Of course, I had the wrong knife for the job. I should have been using a fillet knife, and I was using just a kitchen butcher. But so Caroline's got this little tiny buck knife that she was using, or she bought to use, and then she has this fancy Benchmade, and that Benchmade's just a little bit too big for my taste. She did all right with it, but that little bitty buck knife got a blade like that. I processed 2 deer and her antelope with that little bitty shit. Oops, excuse me. Hope Mama Woods ain't watching. But anyway, yeah, processed that little knife. Man alive, I was impressed. I was really impressed. And I did one with my, I did 8 deer, helped a guy with a deer with my Mora knife. But my Mora knife, the curve on the tip is dull and I can't get it to sharpen. The rest of it's real nice. All right. I also use this knife too to split skin. Not the best. But yeah, there's one more with that part done. About ready to start doing the body work on them. But I'm going to have to take a break. And I think we're going to shut her off here. So I'm going to run back downstairs and sit down and rest a minute. Then we'll kind of finish up the chat, and I'll come finish this a little bit later here. Hey, hell, sun's coming out, starting to warm up a little bit. All right, I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to sit down and have a glass of water, and then go back and finish it up. About time to do laundry again, too. All right. I want to move my table and put it away. Get a drink of water over here. Yeah, this little place I got's nice, but man, I wish it was somewhere else. I wish I could rent from my buddy Sam. Man, he's got a nice place. Now, about 5 miles from town. Actually, a little further than that. It's 3 miles to town from the fort. He's a few more miles down the road from that, so. All right, let's see here. Catch up on the chat. Okay, so Deer Lake sinew is worthless, beef buffalo sinew is great, old Lakota round. Use neck sinew of bison for arrowheads. Okay, yeah, I tried to save neck sinew off a deer, and I peeled that off and I was starting to let it dry. I was like, this ain't gonna break apart a sinew at all. Just a solid chunk of tube. Yeah, Steve, yeah, I know hair is hell on a knife, but we did our best to cut from down, below, and up to eliminate the amount of hair, and we didn't have a lot of hair, except on my one deer, because I was getting a little impatient when I went up through to split the front leg open. I drew it and cut through it, and when I was showing Caroline on her antelope, we had a little bit of hair because she was coming down through. But yeah. Well, I'm glad Caroline wasn't here to see that Steve Ranella just killed a snake with a rock. But anyway, yeah, I'll run it here for about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to shut her down for the day. Boy, it's warm up in here. Or I should say down in here. I think they finally got the furnace running down upstairs. But, yeah, I know it's going to be fun getting all those hides tanned. About 10 hides. Oh, I don't know if I'll get them all done this winter. I may be working on them in the spring too, but I'm trying to get my buckskin suit made for the fur trade event we're going to be having in the spring. Oh, let's see. Saturday, you mean when you say the old way, splitting it down the back? Because, yeah, I was talking with Chris Swanson. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she does living history, and she portrays the Cheyenne aspect of it. She was telling me about, how they split them down the back, and so I got to reading, and Bent St. Vrain and Company, I don't remember when it was, but they started having the Southern Cheyenne split them up the stomach, up the middle, as they felt like they got a better value out of them that way. But yeah, she was telling me that, the way she knew how they tanned them, split them down the middle of the back, then split them down the middle of the stomach, and then sew the back together, and then they always had bead or quill work going down that seam. But I'd never seen that on the trade ledgers. The only reference I seen was Bent St. Vrain Company wanted the Cheyenne to split them up the middle, up the stomach. And I forget what time frame that was. I think that was late 30s, early 40s. But makes sense, split it up the back, and then you don't have to worry about dealing so much with the gut pile in the middle of your meat. Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Sabater, yeah. Yeah, run it down the back, yeah, because when I try to do deer hides, right, Sabater, yeah. When I do deer hides, I try to split it up the back of the back leg and up the front of the front leg, and then that way when it folds out, you got a more of a square. Sure, Sabater. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Yeah, yeah, because when you split it that way, it comes out square. If you split it down the back side of all the legs, then I notice on deer you get a good V shape. Which I'm at the point I trim the legs off when I'm scraping them. I'll leave them on until I get the hair off, and then I'll cut them off, because trying to get the hair off of the edge is a pain, because that knife just wants to roll over that edge, whatever you're using to scrape it with. So I scrape it down past that, and then I cut it off. And then, yeah, you get a little bit more square, but I screwed up on that one antelope doe. I would have had perfect, like you're saying, kind of a trapezoidal shape, and had the two back legs just perfect, and I cut it off too short. So now I got a real nice one leg on there. The other leg's too short, but I'll make it work. But yeah, I don't remember where I read that. But yeah, if you split the front legs up the front, then over into the neck, you can get a square. You get a square hide out of it. Of course, then I take a little bit of the neck down from that, so then it's got a little piece coming off there. But I found when tanning, that neck, oh, that's a pain in the butt to tan. We're going to see how it tans on antelope. Somebody told me antelope tans a lot nicer. Oh, Steve, there's a guy in South Dakota, in Sabater, you may know him, Larry Bellitz. He still makes them teepees, but man, they ain't cheap. Oh, they ain't cheap. I forget what Bent's paid for that one hide teepee they had, but it was not cheap. Yeah, Sabater, yeah, Larry Bellitz. I just mentioned it. Yeah. Is he still doing stuff? Because I'm trying to talk the Ford into getting some buffalo robes, and when I was down there at Bent's, we ordered a lot of buffalo robes from him, and man, he sends some nice robes. But it depends on the year. Depends on the year, or the time of the year, I should say. We happen to order them just the right time. Boy, we get some really beautiful. But I've also heard people say that they get some that aren't that great. But when we was down last year that I was down there at Bent's that they ordered them. They ordered, I think it was 10 or 12, because he gave us a really steep discount. Man alive, he gave us a good discount. Um, we ordered those, and every one of them was just absolutely beautiful. Um, yeah, Sabater. That's the thing. That um, canvas is a heck of a lot cheaper. You can get a 15-foot teepee for, I forget what it was, a couple grand. But yeah, he's still doing stuff. I think the um, last time I seen him, I don't remember where that was, but I met him once. But yeah, I was pretty sure he was still doing it. Um, but yeah, he's getting up there. He's getting up there in age. Uh, and then there was another guy I know that was doing it. The heck was his name? Um, oh, Wes Housler. Wes Housler was doing it, but I don't know if Wes is still doing it or not. Yeah, 14 hides for a 12-footer, and I don't remember what he charges for a hair off hide, but that gets really spendy. Then you got to sew it together, and those things are heavy. Um, we've got one out at Fort. Well, it's not at the fort right now, but we've got one. I think it's at the visitor center in Torrington, State Visitor Center, on display. But it's a small teepee, and they spent a lot of money on that thing. 100 pounds, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, that sounds about right. Um, we got a big 24-foot canvas teepee out there at the fort that Agate Fossil Beds gave to us. Um, and we pulled that out. We thought about putting it up just for grins. That's when we realized our teepee poles were a little too short for that one. But yeah, when I went to haul that thing out, I thought I'll just throw it up over my shoulder, because trying to haul with two people wasn't working. Big mistake. I threw that sucker on my shoulder, and I walked probably 50 yards, and I was done. I think that thing, yeah, was 125, 130 pounds. And when I came home that night and took my shirt off, I was bruised all down my shoulders from the weight of that being up there. But man alive. No, and that was a canvas one. Oh man, yeah, and it was heavy. But Agate Fossil Beds had it, and they decided they didn't want it anymore, so they gave it to the fort. I'm still of the opinion of putting that sucker up next year if we have enough people. But man alive, standing that thing up is going to be a chore. One heck of a chore. Sorry, I got the TV going, so I'm sitting here watching Steve Ranella cook deer heart out in the field, wrapping it with that spiderweb looking part that's around the stomach. It's making me hungry. Except I don't have any deer meat here at my place. It's all over Caroline's in the freezer. We're going to cook some tomorrow, though. Yeah, I think next time we shoot one out in the field, we're going to take bags and we're going to quarter it up out in the field. Because dragging that sucker, oh man, that about killed me. Of course, I was wearing this fleece on because it was cold that morning, and by the time we got moving and pulling back, I was just sweating. Oh man, I was sweating like crazy. But It was sure fun. But yeah, if I remember right, yeah, canvas teepees, they are traditional, but they didn't start coming in until late 1860s. Saboteur, if you know better, chime in there. But I think that was 1860s that canvas teepee started being becoming a thing. Because there's a picture of a couple teepees there at Fort Laramie. I think it's from the 60s, and there's one of those is definitely canvas. But thing I noticed in the pictures is that the teepee poles are a lot smaller. The ones we got, we joke around. It's like we ever decide to rebuild the old telegraph line out there at Fort Laramie. We'll just take those teepee poles because they're about the right, almost the right size. They're huge. Not quite big enough for a telegraph line, but some of them suckers at the base are like that. They are heavy. Oh, and the one volunteer, Chris, she calls them the balsa wood things, but actually they hold up pretty decent. But I notice when she sets up her teepee, um, she's got the thinner poles and she can get that thing up pretty quick. It takes 3 of us at least to set up the teepee there that we've got at the fort. Takes 3 people to get the tripod standing. It takes about 3 people to lift that canvas up. Okay, Saturday, late 1850s. Yeah, I know they came in there. They were too late for fur trade era, but they were coming in there pretty close on the heel end of it. Well, anyway, I went past what I said I was going to do, so I think we're going to shut her down here now. I want to thank everybody for joining in this morning. Great turnout this morning compared to some of the other ones we do impromptu. But glad to have you guys here. I think I've got some videos popping up here soonish. If not, I need to upload them still, but I know there's a couple of videos I need to put back up. So keep an eye out on that here in the near future. But yeah, try to get some stuff done, and hopefully I have a hunting video here not too far out. Nothing else, we might do some cooking videos and stuff with some wild game. So anyway, thank you all for joining in. Take care. Stay safe out there. Keep your powder dry. And stay tuned for the next one. See you guys.